Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm LilithAlwyn. In today's video we're going to do a speed build of a floor plan from an Instagram creator that I adore. Their Instagram is Rolos_floorplans. They've got over 700 different floor plans and I decided to just start right at the beginning. I've done this floor plan before, I think a year and a half or 2 years ago, and I was really proud of the version I made before. This time around I decided to go with a little bit different style, and I think I had a way harder time than before. I haven't built anything in The Sims or really done any gameplay for over a year, so this is really my first time trying again. For the remainder of the video, I'm going to have the floor plan in the lower right hand corner, just so that you can kind of get an idea of what I'm trying to do and understand the vision. So as preparation for this, what I think is probably going to be a little series, I decided to go in and clear out all of the lots from all of the worlds and make them empty residential lots. There's a few lots in the game that were specialty lots, so I couldn't change them to residential and I just left the builds that were on them. And then there were also a few houses in Solani that I didn't move because I'm not really sure how to build well in lots that have like partial water on them, so I just kind of left those for now. I'm planning to try to build all of Rollo's floor plans, which is why I started with number 1. But before I got into this speed build, I wanted to show you the build I made a year and a half to 2 years ago. So this is the same floor plan, just in a different style. It's kind of like a Victorian, yeah, I would say like Victorian's probably the closest that it is. I was really proud of this build, especially the roofing on it, and then I do believe that I had a much easier time with the first playthrough of this build doing the staircase. The build that I made this time around did not go so well. I couldn't get the staircase to wrap the way I needed it to, so it ended up, I created like kind of a false wrapping of it. You'll see as we move on. As I was looking at this first build that I did, I realized that the siding wasn't quite correct, so I corrected that, just looked at it a little bit longer, and then moved on to building the next attempt of floor plan number 1. I had a heck of a time deciding on a lot to build this on. I think I looked at a couple of different lots at Henford on Bagley before finally deciding that I wanted to go for more of a stucco, desert, different vibe than the first one. So I ultimately decided to choose this lot at Strangerville. I thought it was so cute with the like front little bit that has some cacti on it. And it was the right orientation for this lot since the lot is longer from front to back and skinnier in the front. So I just chose to go with this lot, and I started by trying to lay just the shell of the lot. So if you look at the floor plan on the right side, you'll kind of be able to see what I'm trying to do. It was not super easy to do. I started off by not raising it, so you'll see that I eventually start raising the house. I have to move it over a couple tiles to make sure I can get one of the walls to fit and all of that. But I'm just going to speed up this bit so you can kind of see how we get the initial shell made. I think my favorite thing about Rollo's floor plans is just how accurate they are. I did run into some spacing issues with this floor plan. I don't know if they drew it off by 1 or if I was just counting off by 1, but generally their floor plans are great because there's the exact amount of tiles on the floor plan that there are on the lot. So it's really easy to figure out where you need to put those exterior walls and how you need to place things. The issue I was running into here that made me have to move the house over was the fact that I couldn't place that far left wall because I was too close to the edge of the lot. I cannot stress enough how difficult it was for me to make sure that I had the house raised to the correct level for a rounded patio. I also really struggled with the stairs, but right here is where I'm struggling to figure out how I need to raise the house so that the patio can be placed correctly. I couldn't figure out which tool I needed to use to place it, so I tried the platform tool. I tried a bunch of different things. I did eventually, I think, figure it out for the most part, but it ended with all of the rooms being off by one tile, so I had to rebuild a lot of the rooms. Then a couple of the rooms were not fully closed off rooms, and I had to add walls to compensate for it so that they would be closed off, and it was just a big mess, but I eventually got it figured out. I was pretty happy with the way the front patio looked. I ended up doing better than the first build I did for the patio. In the first build, I got so frustrated with the heights of the floors and the platforms or the foundation that I gave up on doing it at all and just said, we're not going to have stairs, we're going to have a flat little patio out back. But this time around, I did end up adding kind of a deck where I was able to put stairs down. I had very similar struggles with the back patio, but by this point I was feeling a little bit more comfortable with the process, so I got the back patio down a little bit easier. And then after putting down the back patio, or right about here, I think is where I realized everything was off by one. I went a little bit crazy, and then I just figured it out. As you're watching this video, if I am doing things that have keyboard shortcuts for them and you want to call them out in the comments, please do so. My brain was completely fried and frustrated doing this that I couldn't remember a single shortcut to do entire rooms or remove entire sections of walls. I was so frustrated, and I know that there are more efficient ways to do a lot of what I was doing in this game, but after I had so much issue with the front patio, I was just ready to get this house done at whatever cost, which is why you'll see me eventually give up on the stairs and give up on furnishing the inside and not try super duper hard with the flooring and wallpaper. However, I was really proud of the outside of the house. I'm not great at gardening, or I guess doing garden decorations, but I tried harder this time around to make the outside look cute, and I even practiced with the sizing down and sizing up objects to make the plants look a little more fitting for the area. But yeah, if you have tips for how I could have done this more efficiently at any point in the game, or how I could have solved issues with the rooms not being complete, please let me know. I think the part of this build that was the most frustrating and most confusing for me that I still don't know how to fix was the staircase. The staircase was meant to be an L. From the front it was supposed to go up a couple and then turn left and go upstairs into the little area that's very clearly meant for stairs. But no matter what I did, I could not figure it out. So if you know what I did wrong or what was creating the issue, please let me know. I should add while I remember that for this entire build I did have baby move objects on. I also had like the debug items unlocked using the cheat for that. And then I was using the shift bracket buttons to size up and size down objects when I was doing the outside. In real time, with all of the frustration I had with the patio and the stairs, this build took me about 2 hours. I also had issues with my stream, so I think if like you confidently knew how to do everything, like you knew how to place stairs and you knew how to set levels for foundations confidently, you could probably make this build in like an hour and a half without furnishing it. You could like get all the windows added, all the doors added, you could get the roofing done. But I was riding the struggle bus, so this build took me about 2 hours. I think if I would have spent time furnishing the entire thing, it would have taken me a total of 3.5 hours. Fortunately for you, it is sped up to 4.5 times speed, so it's taking a lot less time for you to see it done. So the only thing that there were like two things that made me think like were the issue for the stairs in this build. The first thing was there was a platform issue and I needed to put a platform somewhere at a certain height and that would make it possible to put the stairs there. I tried that a bajillion times, it didn't work, I gave up on it. The other thing I was thinking was maybe I had the wall height off looking at the floor plan, but when I read Rollo's guide on how to read the stairs and understand them in the floor plans, it said that stairs that take up 3 tiles, not including the tile that has the turn in it, are supposed to be the shorter wall height. So that's what I went with, but I'm not sure if I read it wrong or what. It was eating me alive, and I've got nothing but time, so I went into the first version of this build that I made a couple of years ago to look at how I made the stairs work, and it looks like I placed a platform in that like corner where the lower part of the stairs and the upper part of the stairs meet. It looked like I placed a platform about halfway up the wall, and that solved the issue. I don't know if that's what I needed to do this time around or if there was something else that I really messed up in this build. Looking at the first build version of this that I made, it also seemed like it was bigger than this one, which doesn't make sense because I placed things exactly how they were supposed to be according to the floor plan, but who knows? I've got no idea. This was probably the closest I got to making it work, actually. I don't know why I gave up here. Oh. Okay, so clearing that flooring is what ended up messing up the entire staircase, and that, I guess, bugged me too much to just put the flooring back, so I deleted the whole staircase. That makes sense. Learn from me. Leave the flooring, and you can have the staircase. it's really fun to watch this back and see just how panicked I got over this staircase. Learn from me, if you're looking at what's happening right now, just chill out, I guess. The issue that created all of this panic was at the top of the stairs, where that first level of the stairs is lined up with the wall. I deleted the flooring above the stairs. I really should have just left it. That would have probably solved all of my problems and not caused all of the flooring upstairs in that hallway to be deleted. Because all of the flooring in the hallway upstairs was deleted, that just caused me to pretty much rage delete the entire staircase and create a fake L staircase with walls. But it could have been avoided by just not deleting the flooring that's above the lower staircase. There's probably another way it could have been avoided, but I have to build more houses to figure that out. I think the funniest part of this live stream for me was the fact that before I started the build, I wasn't really worried about the patio. I wasn't really worried about the stairs. I was like, yeah, I did those in the last build. I'm gonna be fine. But I remembered that in the first version of this build, I was fighting for my life trying to place the fence. No matter what I did, the fence wanted to be on a foundation and it looked so stupid. And I remember in the first version of this build, I spent like 25 minutes on YouTube trying to figure out how to get it to stop happening. And so when I went into making this build the second time around, I was like, the fence is going to give me trouble again. I don't remember how I solved the problem the first time. This is going to be a nightmare. And then I went and placed the fence with no problems because like muscle memory reminded me that you're just supposed to start away from the house and drag the fence to the house so that it doesn't get placed on some weird foundation. So I had no problems placing the fence, and I had problems with the other things that I was super confident about. I also had just an extremely difficult time deciding what I wanted to do with this roof. I knew I didn't want it to look like a traditional, like, suburban house. I didn't want it to look like the Victorian house I had, so I wasn't really wanting to put anything besides a flat roof on it, but I wasn't liking how this flat roof was looking on it either. So I tried these weird shingled roofs, didn't like it. Then I tried a bunch of different tiles, I didn't like those. Then I figured out that the answer was placing short little fences around it and that it kind of looked cute. I don't think that I was entirely satisfied with the roof on this house by the end of the build, but I was a lot happier with it at the end than I was at the point we're at right now. I was really hoping that this adorable cobblestone with like the brick border would have other pieces to complete it, but again, I was extremely frustrated at this point, so I didn't want to spend the time poking around to figure it out. So I ended up completely changing my mind, going with a different tile. I am very happy with the tile that I chose, but I wish I would have had a little bit more energy to just try and figure out if that cobblestone had some pieces that went with it a little bit better, because I think it could have ended up really, really cute. This is the part of the build where I realized that the stairs weren't going to work because I had deleted all of the flooring in the hallway and there was no way to replace it, so I spent a bunch of time poking around trying to figure it out, finally deciding to create that false L-shaped staircase. We're nearing the end of this speed build, and I want to say thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a rough ride. I do feel like I am learning a lot just watching this back, and I feel like I learned a lot in the process of building the house, but I would love your feedback on things you saw in the build that I could have done more efficiently or ways I could have solved some of the issues. I'd love your feedback on whether or not keeping the floor plan in the corner of the screen the entire build is useful, or if you'd rather me just show it at the beginning and end of the video. If there's any other feedback you have, I would appreciate it as well. One thing I was wondering is, would people appreciate a full build with complete furniture at the end of it, or do people like these open shell builds? What are people kind of looking for? Would you like two separate videos where I do like the build of the shell and then I go back into the build and furnish it? I'm just curious to hear what people would like to see and also what people would like to download from the library. So this is available in the gallery if you want to download it, if you know how to fix the issues, or if you're fine with the issues that are in it. You can find me in the gallery, and I will include a screenshot of my gallery ID at the end of the video, along with some pictures I took of the inside of the house. Pictures are another thing I'm going to get better at. This was definitely trial and error after a year of not building anything in this game. I think I did pretty good, and I'm really excited to see how my skills evolve and how my creativity evolves too in getting back into playing the Sims and building things. So this is where I was using that shift and bracket button to increase the size of and decrease the size of different objects. I was also holding the Alt button as I was placing objects so that I didn't have to place them on the grid line. Those are two really helpful things to know if you're just getting into building, or if you've built before and forgotten how to do those things. It just makes it a little easier to make things look less like spaced apart and a little more cohesive. I wanted to do a lot more here in terms of the garden area or the plants outside, but I don't really have a great eye for those things, and I think it's something I need to practice with more before I'm comfortable going all out for the exterior. But I was pretty happy with the way this looked. I think it was very cute. I added some fireflies and dragonflies throughout the exterior as well, just so that like at nighttime it's really like even cuter, and so that it seems a little less like sterile of an environment. I think adding in the dragonflies makes it feel more realistic. Just having, I guess, having bugs around makes it feel more real. I still wasn't very happy with the outside of it, especially after looking at it at nighttime, so I decided to add some of these lights to the roof and to the floor outside. I'm sure you've noticed in the upper right hand corner it's been talking about screen recordings being saved. Like I said, I was having a lot of problems with the stream, and I ended up having to start screen recording in game in order to get this footage, so I'm sorry for the pop-ups, but it's all I had to work with this time around. I'm still figuring out the best way to utilize the software on my computer. At this point, I was really at the end of my rope with this build. I needed to give myself more time and more energy to really go all out for a build. So I decided I was just going to put some flooring and wallpaper down for all of the rooms, and that I was pretty much going to call it. I was done putting furniture down, and I was really struggling creatively with even what I would put to finish off the rooms with wallpaper and flooring. So this was the best I could come up with, just because I was feeling very honestly overstimulated and frustrated with this build. But you're free to change the wallpaper and flooring as you would like. I think overall it's a really good shell to start somewhere for a house, especially for people who are not at all comfortable building. It's better than a lot of the like base game builds or the builds that Max has put out initially for the game. So it's got that going for it. It definitely has a lot of potential, and it was kind of my second attempt at creating this build for Rolo's floor plans. So this did end up being, I think, a 5-bedroom, or I guess 4-bedroom with an office and 2-bathroom house. You could knock down the interior walls and rearrange the layout if you wanted to. I think the things I would have changed in this build would be the doors I chose for the outside. I would have spent a little bit more time on landscaping, and I would have figured out how to get those dang stairs to work. But overall, I was happy with the build. It's always challenging figuring out what things go best together, but I think I did a pretty good job. These are just the final images I took of the house. I'm not very familiar with taking screenshots in game, so that's something I'm gonna have to watch some YouTube videos on to see how I can get the best angles and stuff. But this is what the interior ended up looking like, with some fun little transitions on the pictures. I think it's a good place to start for anyone who kind of wants a blank slate but a unique, or a more unique layout, I guess. This isn't just a box, which is nice. And I think the lot that it was placed on was a really great lot for like the landscaping I started with, and you could definitely add to the landscaping to make it all go together a lot better. And last but not least, this is a picture of my gallery. These are just some of the lots that I have on the gallery. I also have some Sims on there. It will be growing with time, but for now I don't have a lot there. I do have that first build that I made of this floor plan, and then I will have this second one up as well. And then I'm going to include the tag for Rolo's floor plans on Instagram, so you can go over and check out their like 730 plus floor plans that they have. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitch at LilithAlwyn or on YouTube at LilithAlwyn. Please give me any feedback or suggestions you have in the comments below for future builds, or if there's things that you would like to see in future videos, whether it's for Sims or a different game. I'd love to hear that as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you when I see you.